Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. I am your grateful host, and in studio with me, my dear buddy over there, Lane. What's happening, Lane?
Hi, everybody.
You doing okay?
I'm doing pretty good.
Man, what a great day today.
I know, hump day. We're halfway through the week.
Today's Wednesday? Today's Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, today's Tuesday. Oh, never mind.
Oh, no.
Scrap that.
Well, it could be hump day. Who knows?
Yeah.
If your work schedule's off on Thursday. How's that? Anyway, guys, we appreciate you. We're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live on rumble.com. I want to see you over there at rumble.com. Let's talk about President Biden. Let's see here. Folks, what's going on over here? Lane, you saw this? The Federal Appeals Court just ruled that Joe Biden cannot stop the release of recordings and transcripts that became evidence in Special Counsel Robert Hur's classified documents investigation. Remember, when he was in office, he was held to basically the special counsel said, yeah, we think there's something there, but he couldn't stand trial. He doesn't have the mental requisite to stand trial. No reasonable prosecutor would bring charges against him, is what he said. Yeah, okay, well. Yet he remained the president. But let that sink in, though. Federal Court of Appeals ruled the former president, you can't stop the release of these recordings and transcripts, and I'll tell you of what, and it's basically dealing with ghostwriting and things like that. But some of this became evidence during the special counsel's investigation on the former president. So basically, Biden fought to keep the American people essentially from hearing recordings that played a role in probably one of the most significant prosecutorial decisions, let's just say, in recent history, to not go forward based on that reason. The court said no. But that's not even what caught my attention here. What has my attention is something way bigger than that. You know, we've reached again, it's another example though, but I'm looking at the voter, I'm looking at the American citizen, I'm looking at just we the people, us regular folks, you know, and where's our trust? You know, we've reached a point in America where every major decision coming out of the Department of Justice, every major decision coming out of a lot of prosecutors' offices, district attorneys' offices. We've seen a few examples of that in Louisiana. Not much. But we've reached a point where everything's viewed through a political lens. Even prosecutions done through a political lens, and that's dangerous. I mean, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, somewhere in the middle, that should concern you. I think what we're seeing should concern you. It's not just in Washington, and it can happen to you. If your name's not the right name, if you're not in this group, if you're not in the cool club, if you're not in this political circle, or maybe you're in that political circle, or maybe you did something that hurt somebody's feelings and they want to take out a little grudge on you. All of that weakens our country, weakens our system, weakens trust. The justice system, federal, local, state, whatever. The justice system isn't supposed to ask us to pick a political team. It's supposed to apply the law fairly. And when that confidence disappears, everybody loses. Now, let's talk about these recordings, okay? So you got Special Counsel Hur, H-U-R. He decided not to prosecute the president over his handling of classified documents. And in explaining that decision, Hur wrote that a jury would likely view Biden as a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Okay. Yet he's got the football. He's got the nuclear football. He had it. I mean, that was not a Fox News talking point. Wasn't any kind of political pundit saying that. That was part of the legal explanation for declining prosecution. So naturally, Americans wanted to know what led Robert Hur, what led him to that conclusion. Because that is a very fair question. In fact, it's exactly the kind of question citizens should ask when government exercises extraordinary power. I mean, look at what we saw 4 years prior to Trump. That's carried over, and I hope we don't see the same thing going on. I see a few examples that make me kind of nervous. Because once both sides do it, we're done. We're done. You're starting to see it at the local level. I hope we're not done there. Hope not. Because that's where most of your prosecutions are. That's where most of your legal action is in your local court. So if we have local district attorneys playing politics, that's bad. That's Real Chat on Rumble.com, speaking some French. I like it. Bonjour. I got that part. So, anyway, what led that guy to that conclusion about the former president? Extremely reasonable to ask that. The appeals court essentially said public's interest in understanding that decision outweighs any kind of privacy interest in the recordings that maybe became part of the investigation. You're the former president, you had classified material. Besides, you had classified material, that alone, president or not. I've had to handle classified material. I didn't get to take that to my garage. I don't think I had a garage at the time. That's what the when he was vice president, he had President Biden had some classified documents he brought. It's my understanding. But it also seems to be one that it's kind of the go-to when you want to go after somebody. It kind of seems like it. Both sides have used that. My humble opinion, my humble 2 cents. But that was what the appellate court had held. And I think that's the right instinct. And here's why. We spent years watching confidence in our justice system erode. Americans have argued over investigations. Our country has been split over all this. Our communities have been split over that. Argued over prosecutions, argued over charging decisions. Grand juries, for example. The most politically motivated shield in the state of Louisiana. You have the Attorney General, for example. That DA, it's like another one, hide behind the grand jury. Well, be open about it. Be transparent. Show the folks all the crimes that you apparently have. Show everybody. But no, the judge said, the sitting prosecutor on the case said, no, he's objecting to that. You can't see what the grand jury had. That's just not right. And look, whether you're, and I'll bring this home, whether we're talking about Washington or some local DA's office, prosecutor's offices around the country, around the state, bottom line, too many people have come to believe that justice sometimes depends on whose name is on the case caption instead of what's inside the case file. And that is not healthy. That goes against every principle I remember learning in law school. I remember sitting through some of those classes, how that is not good. We go through a whole program, swear an oath under the premise that justice is blind and that it should have no politics in it. And we see more politics and justice now than ever. Definitely in my lifetime, definitely in my short 15 years as an attorney. I tell you what, this is something, and the burden's on the Republicans because the Democrats have no shame in the game. I'm not saying Joe Democrat, I'm saying the National Democrat playbook. Rhinos use it. It doesn't have to be true. You just get the headlines, go through a grand jury, get the arrest, all the things. But Republicans, it's tempting. I know, and President Trump's probably got to be tempted the most. And I'm not saying he's not doing any lawfare. If he is, I don't stand by that either. Don't stand by that either. Just because it hurts the country. The country We'll get past the president. We'll get past the Congress. I mean, we get past the Congress every day. What do? They have worked real hard not to do stuff like the Save America Act. Just throwing that out there. All right, we're going to take us a tiny little break. Lane and I are going to get back. We'll wrap a bow on this pretty little topic and so much more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
From the mayor's desk to the mic.
to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Shout out to my friends over there at Stan's Auto. Go to Stan's for all your automobile needs here in Lafayette and New Iberia. And shout out to my friends at Prejean's, man. Prejean's. It's every day is gumbo weather. It's always gumbo. It's about to be gumbo weather, but guess what? It's gumbo weather right now, and they got so much more besides gumbo at Prejean's. 2 locations, one off I-49 between Carencro and Lafayette, the other one off of Morgan, right off the highway in Broussard. Go check these guys and gals out. And we were talking about President Biden, and really it morphs so much more than just the appellate court saying you can't hide behind these documents. You use some of these documents for ghost writing and all that stuff, which is even more more reasons to ask for it. But the special prosecutor at some point during the investigation also found that the president was not fit to have trial. Now, he didn't have the mental requisite to do that. And folks are asking, well, what'd you base that off on? And some of these documents they feel could give those answers. And the appellate court said you can't hide it. It's what they told his attorneys. You can't hide it. I mean, think about how. But then we morphed on, because I want you to think about how serious it's become when because I want to talk more on the lawfare than this. I mean, that's a kind of a no-brainer. The appellate court did the right thing. There was no reason to not produce it. But we talked about that, Lane and I, yesterday. We both, and most of you guys, if not all, lean on the side of transparency. It may be ugly, may not like it, may not make sense, because it just might not make sense. But it's transparent, and you know. Then we morphed into the lawfare, and on the Washington level, on the more so the local level. And I know 2 examples in Louisiana, but there's definitely, I'm sure others, and how dangerous this can be if our justice system depends on what crowd you hang out with. Because locally, see, at the national level, orange man bad, so that's their marching orders. See, at the local level, it can be way more prevalent if we let this happen. Because all you got to do, you ever felt like, I'm just telling you guys, I've been practicing for a little bit, and I've had so many consultations with folks that have all these stories about, a district attorney doing this or not doing this, and I usually would maybe blow them off a little bit. I don't know. Most of them are great. Most of them do the right thing. They really do. Most of them don't want to play the politics. That's kind of the beauty of the gig. You don't have to be political. You shouldn't be political. But even it's more than that. It's like if you offend somebody, if you hurt somebody's feelings, if you didn't support a certain thing, or if you did support a certain thing, that I was never taught that in law school, in any kind of analytical thinking. I just wasn't. And I just say, republic, and a lot of people believe this, a republic, which we are, we can't function if half the country believes justice is political and the other half simply shrugs its shoulders. For my left-leaning folks, that's not sustainable. I can speak the language. So what's the answer? More secrecy, Lane? You just want to have more secrecy, more closed doors?
Absolutely not.
More trust us?
No. This never made sense to me that a liberal administration wants no transparency, or as little transparency as possible. It doesn't make sense. We should need transparency from our government. We elect them. They need to do our job. They do the job they got elected for, not all these backroom deals.
Well, and you're right about that. But when you're talking about prosecution, these backroom deals are talking about people's lives, their families' lives, their livelihood. You're right. You're right. But take liberal out of it. Take conservative out of it. Just the idea that a district attorney at any county, any parish, or a prosecutorial entity at any level for there to be like political favors or vendettas, man,
Yeah.
that's so it's so wrong. I'll use a legal term. It shocks the conscience. It shocks my conscience. I never. Let me tell you something. I always felt strong with the First Amendment, and I always felt strong that the justice system does work. And the last few years, we've seen the First Amendment trampled on. We've seen even a Supreme Court case saying that, yeah, federal government can collude with social media. So we've seen the First Amendment stuff, but we've seen lawfare. It started with Trump. It started to get recognized with Trump. But how many of these prosecutions now that some of these political prosecutions are out, are we going to start? I would. There are 2 DAs in this state that I am questioning everything, not giving the benefit of the doubt, which I used to always give, because it's not saying you don't fact check, not saying you don't do your due diligence, but I never had to look for wrong. I never had to look at for evil or bad faith, and there's going to be a lot more of that going forward. It's the nature of the beast right now. I don't know if we can turn that pendulum. That's the part that scares me, because we can purge through bad legislation for years, and we can purge through bad leadership in the executive for a couple of terms. You really can. How it's so bipartisan, this evil. How do you, and it's so natural, such a human flaw to seek vengeance, or to have so much power go to your head, I guess, ego. But I can't explain it. And if we don't get a hold of it, and I don't know how you do it. Stop electing these folks, but I mean, no one goes in there saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make my office political." No one goes in there saying, "Oh, I take that back." Letitia James did. I'll give her credit. Letitia James up there in New York. She said she was going to get Trump, and by goodness, she sure did. I don't think Alvin Bragg ran on that, but he was there. And then, where's Fanny at? Where's Fanny at? Where's my girl at?
Probably dating people that work in her office.
That ain't right. They should have a dating site in her office.
They definitely should.
Like, let's just skip to the chase. What wing of the DA's office are you in? All right, y'all are Wednesdays. That's something. That is something. All right, let's go to the phone lines. I'm gonna break us because I see this caller. Kish, what's up, my man? Keith Kishbaugh from Kishbaugh Construction, proud supporter of the Josh Guillory Show. Been in business only almost 50 years. What's up, brother? I got you. Yeah. 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 So true. Yeah. Yeah, I do, Kishan. Well said, and especially the last part. Thanks, brother. We're going to go into a commercial break, but I'll wrap up with this. That was some good points, and well said at the end. We just don't respect the grand jury anymore, and why should you? Because the DA in every all I don't know how many we have. I think you told me 42 or something like that in the state. All of these guys have two ways to charge somebody: grand jury, where they can hide behind and play politics, or they can be transparent and issue what's called a bill of information. But that would require the DA to answer questions. So they do the Pontius Pilate. They wash their hands and say, well, this is not free Barabbas. Anywho, all right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Go check us out at the Rumbles, rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. Can't wait to see you over there. Man, looking for a new ride? I want you to go visit my friends at Giles Nissan, Opelousas, Lafayette. Man, make Giles Nissan your first stop, whether you're shopping for a dependable Sentra, a family-friendly Rogue, a tough Frontier, or a powerful Titan. I saw a few Titans over the weekend, man. I love that. Go to Giles Nissan. You can check them out. Giles Nissan has the selection and the hometown service you deserve. Very clean maintenance department that's going to take you right, take you in and do you right. Plus, their experienced team is there before, during, and after the sale. Not no one and done. You know, they want your car buying experience to be easy. So visit Giles Nissan, Opelousas, Lafayette. You can shop online, Giles Nissan, where great vehicles and great service come together. Guys, our phone lines are open, 232-1542. Let us hear from you. I'm digging that chat over there at therumble.com. Thank you, guys. That's Real Sha. Y'all go check out That's Real Sha's podcast as well. We're Rumble mates. Friends and Rumble mates. There we go. Love it, love it, love it. Very interesting podcast. All right, so let's dive right in. I mean, we can wrap up though on that. You had mentioned in the break we were talking. You had a good point. You said when you drive by the courthouse, especially like the federal courthouse in Lafayette, you got those two bowl-looking things. You know, half of the head. There's some blindfolds. You go in several other courts, and you'll see Lady Justice holding the scales of justice, and she's blindfolded. She doesn't need to see who the parties are. She just needs to see. She weighs the law and she weighs the facts. I don't see Lady Justice weighing political party. I don't see Lady Justice weighing if my partner got his feelings hurt. I don't see just Lady Justice, sorry. I don't see her balancing out if I have a grudge against somebody, I'm going to use the prosecutorial process to do it. I just missed that lesson. Maybe these DAs, I don't know. I think they're older than me. I think they would have went to school before me. I think they were teaching that then as well. This is a new wrinkle to justice, the whole political side in this regard, like to this level. All righty. Oh, hey, Lane, local news. I believe the Mayor President, Boulay, will be dropping her proposed budget. Did I see that correctly, my dear friend?
Yes, that is correct.
Now, the total amount for this budget is what?
It is $830 million.
$830 million. I have so much to think about. Does anything stand out when you're reading it just now?
So they have some highlights. More than 60% of the city general fund dedicated for public safety. $28.9 million for drainage maintenance and flood mitigation.
30 million out of 830?
Yes.
30 million for drainage. Okay.
Not even 30 million, 28.9. They couldn't even get to 30.
All right.
750,000 to begin design for the East Broussard Road widening.
That has been on the. Why are we just now doing that? Gosh, that has been on the books. I thought that was started.
I thought that was too.
I really did. I mean, I was anyway. Hey, good. I'm gonna be positive. Good.
500,000 for pedestrian safety improvements near schools.
Okay.
250,000 for parish-wide traffic signal optimization.
Okay, that could mean a lot, guys. I want y'all to watch that one. I want y'all to watch professional services on that. I couldn't tell you where professional services is, but I did that by design. And my former chief of staff, Robert D. Benoit, he would protect me from the politics. I didn't care. I didn't want to know who was getting a contract. I didn't. I couldn't even tell you where they're doing it. But I can tell you in the budget where you can see it. And you used to be able to see on open checkbook, you could see what vendor was getting paid, when, and how much. It was a beautiful tool. I want you to watch this one. Watch them all, but watch this one. That seems like because 250,000 is not really a lot in the grand scheme of things. I mean, if you're replacing lights, I guess, But if you're talking about an integrated system, which I think would be really cool, not the hockey pucks. You might see those hockey pucks. That's great. It did a great thing at the time. We have better technology now from I'm using this word, so I'm going to butcher this, but like crowdsourcing. I know it's not the right term, but where everybody's connected. There's ways to use technology to synchronize these lights. You know, I don't want to get into anybody's business, but somebody was let go, probably because they needed to be the scapegoat. But that person at one point was working, I know, on some really cool stuff with his department to use technology to integrate and really, really make our traffic system, our lights in the city and in unincorporated areas to a degree, work better, work more efficient. You know, back in the day, our I'm convinced of it. Our traffic guiding system was, man, where we backed up at? Or someone got upset, hey, I'm building this business. I need a traffic light right here. No studies. We weren't that big. It's fine. You can do that when you're juggling 20,000, 100,000, or 20, 50,000. You get up to 100,000, it starts to get a little crowded. You got to start working on things a little more efficiently. So, anyway, anything else pop up?
More than 4.6 million invested in parks and recreation facilities.
What? What is it? What's the plan? Well, and is that 4.6? Hold on. I want to see that a little bit more. So if it's 4.6 million into park, which is Park, Arts, Recreation, and Culture, that's the former Parks and Rec department. It was combined in the previous administration for cost savings and efficiencies. I'm glad to see it's still there. But that budget before was right under that number. The mayor president raised taxes, so it wouldn't shock me that millage, because it's a millage, it's a city millage, by the way, wouldn't shock me if that millage is a little higher, both with the higher assessed values and the tax increase. But regardless, that might be a little misleading. What I'm getting at is I'd like to see the O&M. I'd like to see what's the 101 match. That's the city general fund. You know, guys, before, it wasn't too long ago, up until 2020, do you know that the city general fund, the city general fund and the city millage for Parks and Rec were the only revenue sources for Parks and Rec? And we had facilities outside the city of Lafayette. And thank God we had leaders in the parish at the time. The municipalities, both their mayors and their councils, worked hard with the administration at the time and worked really, efficiently, getting those parks dedicated to these municipalities who know their folks better than a parish government. Just like the parish government knows the parish better than the state, and the state knows the state better than the country. It's just student-teacher ratio. Use that all the time. It's a great example. Hey, let's dive into what we know a little bit more. Lane is doing a wonderful job getting us. You're pretty quick at that. I'm impressed. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back.
Just watch City Hall.
the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Guys, if you're tired of just treating symptoms and you're ready to find out what's really going on, call Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. Through wellness and functional medicine, Dr. Kevin focuses on identifying the root cause so you can feel your best. If you're ready to take control of your health, call 983-CARE. That's 983-CARE, Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic right here in Lafayette. Start feeling better from the inside out. Thought about Dr. Kevin yesterday on some of the discussions we've had. He's got a good Wellness Wednesday coming up tomorrow. On the real hump day, Lane.
Man, I don't know how I messed that up. I really don't understand.
We've had this discussion. We like to skip Tuesdays, you and I, remember?
We did discuss that. Tuesdays get forgotten
Pointless.
about.
Like,
so
what
often.
do we do? Monday, okay, it's Monday. You got to start the week. Friday's Friday. Thursday's the day before Friday. Wednesday, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Tuesday. What do you have to offer?
It just gets forgotten about. I don't know.
It's like Pluto.
Yeah.
Except Pluto is
deserves to be gone.
Ceremonially. Did I say that right? Ceremonially? Oh, gosh, I butchered that.
Close enough.
Ceremonial purposes. Hey, got it in. All right. Hey, so the local budget, guys, it's going to go on for a couple weeks. If you want to check it out, you can go on AOC, not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but the local AOC channel, your public broadcasting here. It's not called public broadcasting. But they covered the budget briefings. It's usually, it's all during the day. The only thing at night where people are off is tonight where you introduce it. No fireworks probably today. This is the day where the council opens the budget and they say, oh, look at all this. I'm kidding. They should have had it by now, I would imagine. And I would love to know, I really would, because I like different people's approach. I don't know what the approach is in this administration. I don't feel like the council's involved. But I got to give credit. A lot of our projects for sure came from council members just being out there and giving me lists. Like it's not hard to run government. And you got more people out there that know what to do. It's amazing when you put them in positions to thrive. It's and say, hey, by the way, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? What's your ideas? Might be surprised. I will tell you this though, the best practical ideas we got was right here in this studio. No joke. Once a week, Thursday mornings during Lafayette Live. Good, bad, or ugly. I love taking those calls. And some of the ideas that we had, one comes in mind on how to clean detention ponds. And we had some ordinances drafted. But anyway, my point in all that is you too can participate, and this budget process is big. So one thing that stood out, this year we're showing a recurring budget of $830 million. So two things stand out. We went from 803 to 830. So since the last administration, I think that puts us at $280 million more in 3 years than the previous administration had. Fantastic. If half of that is LUS, great. You can start paying off that simple cycle electrical generating facility that we're building. It's beautiful. But that means $140 million of capital. Straight up, if you want to use it for capital. You see, here's the thing that rhinos and big government won't tell you, and the group down the street they don't want you to know this. They definitely don't want you to know this. O&M can be used for capital. O&M's like your payroll, your fluctuating stuff, your overhead. But capital can't be used for O&M. So why are we paying salaries when we can be paving roads? Lane rattled off that draining portion of it. That can't be right. I'm telling you guys, if you don't clean them doggone ditches, you can build whatever ponds you want. We delivered a whole bunch of ponds. They won't mean nothing if you don't keep the place clean. So these are the types of things like budgets that you can go and you can voice your opinion. You can fill out a blue card. You can go speak at the budget briefings. it's a really and it won't look if you got something that's really interesting to you, like let's use parks again, okay? You want something in the park department or you got questions, just go to that one. They post when the budget briefings are. Just go to that one. Just go to the ones that matter to you. But I would be looking heavily at the capital outlay budget, okay? We say in LCG it's a 5-year budget. It's really a 1-year budget with ideas of 4 years to come. Kind of keeps us on track. And it usually the LCG will do that. But very interesting to see. What would you do with $250 million? 280. What am I talking about? 280 million. Man, we could have had Homewood paid for. Homewood could have been a nice park by now, and you would have been reimbursed. We talked about that yesterday. That was some sloppy facts there. Anyway, let's go to the phone lines. Sean, what's up, Sean? Got about a minute. Good. Hey, Sean, that's the cool thing about local government. Call back in the second hour too. We'll have some more time, man. Look, that's the thing about local government. I mean, local government will. That's the most responsive part. I don't care if you have a Democrat, a Republican, or whatever. Rhino is hard because you don't know. They're just built on lies. Like, well, you don't know what to believe. So just do your best. But the council, guys, that's 10 folks that really care. Go talk to those folks. Be engaged during the budget process. Ask those questions that we're asking. Like, you sure you don't want to spend more on infrastructure? All right, guys, stick around. Hour number 2 right around the corner.
I need to see if Joe can fix that because going to the second hour, we need music. It's too hard to get to the exact spot.
Whatever you need to do.
I'll talk to
I think it'd be all right. I think you just did great.
That one was good, but yesterday we had missed it by a few seconds. And it had messed
It's all good. Like that first hour was not bad. afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our number 2 of the Josh Guillory Show. I remain your very grateful, very, very grateful host. And in studio with me, my dear friend Lane. What's up, Lane?
Hi, everybody.
Man, let me tell you something. We could have had the mics rolling. We didn't stop talking. Shout out to our friends over there at rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show. Shout out to our KLFY Plus viewing audience. We certainly appreciate you guys too, and all our streaming folks. Go check us out. Join the trend at your business. Put us on rumble.com or any of your streaming devices where you can catch us on most of the main gigs. Put us in your waiting room. Let us give you some free entertainment there. Lane will give you the value. I'll give you the entertainment. How's that? Good. Hey, also, by the way, talking about entertainment and value, man, go to my friends over there at Indoor Recreation. If you're looking to bring more fun to your home, go visit those guys and gals over there. They're right off of Rue Louis the 14th in Lafayette, off of Collie Saloon. Indoor Recreation. It has everything from pool tables to arcade games. They got shuffleboard. They got the foosball tables, all the fun stuff you can imagine. Darts, pub furniture. You can order that stuff too. If they don't have it in store, they'll get it to you really, really, really quick. Indoor Recreation also offers expert moving, recovering, leveling, delivery, installation of that brand new pool table, or if you want to get it, like I said, just recovered, they'll do that as well for you. Man, with more than 35 years serving South Louisiana, trust Indoor Recreation. Visit 211 Rue Louis the 14th or call 984-1625. That's Indoor Recreation. Look them up. You want to know where your kids are? Build a game room and build it from Indoor Recreation. Fun place over there, Lane. Fun place. I told Jonathan I could spend my paycheck. It's a lot. All right, so let's go into a different topic. Well, I'll wrap a bow, actually, because we were talking local budget in the last hour. It's just getting announced. It's just getting dropped this tonight. Mayor President Boulay will be introducing her proposed budget. Now, it's $130 million more than the last administration. So grand total, if you're keeping up, that's $280 million more than the last administration. And we have panhandlers to show for it. We have grass that's tall. We have an economy that is starting to stumble. And I'll tell you, the second part of that analysis, and I'm all about, hope I'm wrong on this, but you saw a massive growth between 2022 to about 24, okay? Massive growth in our economy, unemployment at the lowest in the state, at least on December 31st, 2023. And you see a revenue, and usually it takes about 2 years. So you've seen the first budget in this current administration at $750-something million. Okay, $50 million more than the last guy. Got it. No problem. What are you doing with that surplus? We don't know. It's a surplus if you compare it to the last budget, which that's what we always did. This is not a new budget. We're going off the old one, and you got to justify why you need more salary. You got to justify why you need more people that we're going to have to pay for a long term. If it's a short term deal, why don't we do that on contract or something where it's not long term? But anyway, I digress. Last year it's at 803. This year it's at 830 million. So, you went from 50 growing to 50, then almost at 100 and now at 30. So that's nervous. That makes me nervous mainly because this administration raised taxes. So seems like we should have more. But these are the things I want you to pay attention to because you do have a voice. You do. And what we should all be doing is calling our council members and saying, I bet y'all have a lot of projects y'all want to do. I bet you know what's best in your district. All right. I think it might be, we're just going to have to accept, that 150 million of the 280 has been wasted. We're going to have to accept that. But this budget is for the next coming fiscal year. It doesn't start till November 1st. So we could stop it, in theory, I guess. But the council can do it. And I think you should go to them and just say, put in the same budget as that last guy. $707 million. It's really lower. I'm even giving them cushion because if you take the ARPA funds out, it's lower. But let's just go with that, just to make it easier. And if you did that, you'd have $123+ million. If half of that's LUS, go do the pie in the sky stuff that you like. At least you can afford it. I don't think burying power lines is pie in the sky. I would love to do that. We just had some, I don't know, higher priorities at the time. But I think that's a very awesome project. You have the money. Now you're going to have to scale back that wasteful spending because you bloated us all the way to 803. So my question is, well, if you don't want to go back to the last guys, can you at least keep your budget? Your last bloated one, that would be 803. So that would give us what? 27 million surplus. You don't even need that capital outlay you want for Homeland, 13 and 4, or for university. I was just throwing an idea. Because I like solutions. And I don't think the solutions are going to come from the administration. But I do think the solutions could come from the councils. I really do. I'm telling you, these guys and gals, they love you. They work hard. They do. They go out there. They take the calls. They're the front line. And you have a solution for them. All you got to just go in there and put in that $707 million budget. You now have $123 million just this year. That's just this year. It'll be back next year. And maybe you can, I tell you what, maybe you I don't want to say trick them because that's not nice, but maybe they won't catch the fact that it's recurring. And maybe you can remind them it's recurring. And you just say, just do it this year. Next year, it'll be back and we can revisit. And that would actually be healthy. Because you never know. The priorities change. It's local government. The priorities change frequently. That's why you do so many budget amendments during the middle of the year. Which whoever gets elected, if they're able to unseat this Democrat we have in office right now, one of the first things that person should do is go in there with a budget amendment. I'm not kidding. I am not joking. Don't wait your whatever fake 100 days. Just start your first 100 minutes. And have it written before you get in office. And that way you just drop it and let the councils work it. And of course you don't blindside the councils. You work with them and you say, look, I'm putting up a $707 million budget as far as O&M goes. Whatever the O&M was in that budget, it's not 707, but you get where I'm going with this. Whatever needs to be rededicated, great. Because I'm telling you, the current administration will tell you, well, it's complicated. Well, budgets don't act like that. Guys, that's so arrogant. That's so, and you know way more than that group. I'm telling you. You're not an ad. You probably wouldn't waste the O&M we're seeing. But there's two ways to reappropriate funds. These are all conversations we can have with our council members because they get this. You either move money by council or you move money by the people, which is a vote. And if we're going to go to the people for a vote, why not tax reform? It is, and I'm not talking crazy. I'm really not. But if we don't, because there's such a lack of trust in local government right now. It ain't national, we don't trust government. But there's a reason why all these millages in Lafayette failed. There's no trust. One way to get the trust back is to identify all the millages. Add that revenue up. What's that total number? Okay? Then add all your priorities. You know you got to do the non-sexy stuff. You got to pave your roads. You got to do your utility. Well, that's another budget, but still, you got to do utilities. You got to clean the ditches. I know it ain't exciting. I know no one sees the subterranean cleanouts. I get it. Okay? But it's important. You can't have the fun stuff if you don't have the boring stuff. You got to get your bones in order, and you got to maintain them, okay? So that kind of stuff. So, like, we shouldn't have to politicize a drainage millage. We shouldn't have to politicize or go fight for a roads millage or a public safety millage because those will come on the ballot soon. And they're going to get voted down because we're paying millages on all this other stuff that I bet you don't even know we're paying it for. or it's a big broad. This is good. We're talking about this, or it's a big broad millage, and you don't really know. We don't know where the appropriations are. This is the process. You get to see where those appropriations are, and a lot of this can be wasted in O&M if you're not careful. If you're not careful, or if you just need to pay your partners. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back. Take us a little break. Lane's going to cause some trouble when we get back, dog. I'm telling you, I've been watching him. I've been watching him. Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Guys, a confident smile can last a lifetime, and that's exactly what you'll find at my friend's place over there at St. Marie Orthodontics. Whether it's braces, clear aligners, or personalized orthodontic care for kids, teens, or adults, St. Marie Orthodontics, they got you back. They combine advanced treatment with friendly, compassionate service. If you've been thinking about improving your smile, schedule a consultation today. St. Marie Orthodontics, creating healthy, beautiful smiles you'll be proud to share. Go check them out here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Also a branch in Opelousas. He's got a new teammate over there too, so they can take on a few more patients, and we always love that. Man, if you've ever met, because the culture of the place, it really starts at the top. And there's a reason why St. Marie Orthodontics, their assistants, their dental hygienists, and all these folks, there's a reason why they're so kind. Stacy St. Marie is one of the kindest dudes you're going to meet. And he's smart. And has a great heart. And he's helped my people out, and he'll help yours. St. Marie Orthodontics. Go check them out. And I don't think your mommy's saying. His daughter did an internship with me too last year, and she is brilliant. She's going to be a wonderful lawyer. I tried to talk her out of it. I love the law. It's I tell you what, after being in politics, the law is a welcome. You talk to people with objectivity. The judge and the lawyers, even when it's heated, there's still like objective rules. There's no emotion, and if it does get, because I do family law a lot, so yeah, it can be some emotion there. But for the most part, like I love doing appeals. There ain't no emotion in that paper. It's just pure vigor, pure who has the will to win, who has the will to write to win, who has the will to research till 2 a.m. Oh wait, I'm just a nerd. Okay, or I'm really slow. I don't know. Either one. You start, especially with the new tools out, with research, and you're like, man, okay, you can't stop right there. You got to keep going, got to learn. Oh, Lord.
It's even worse when you start reading about one thing and then you there's a hyperlink on it for something else. Like, that looks interesting. Then next thing you know, 2 hours in and you've got nowhere.
So you've been on Westlaw?
Oh, I've been trying to research everything. That's what I hate about research projects at school is it's about one topic, and next thing I know, I'm reading 50 more topics.
But that shows your scholastic vigor. You have a desire to learn more. That's good.
Those hard deadlines come real fast.
See, Lane, when I was in high school, your mom and dad wouldn't let you hang out with me. It would have been... UL would not have let me in. I was banking. My older brother went to USL, so I was like, all right, I know what it took to get in. Although his grades were good, I got in, and then, like I said, I wrote that first check because I put myself through. Now, Uncle Sugar helped me a lot, but I wrote that first check for that first used book in the old student union. Yeah, I was reading everywhere. I was reading the glossary. I was reading footnotes. I was going to read those hyperlinks if we had them. We didn't. Sure, they were around somewhere. That's a good point, though. You get on this research stuff. It's just like anything else. If you're interested, how many of you guys scrolling through Facebook or TikTok or whatnot, and all of a sudden, an hour and a half, 2 hours later, you're like, I got to stop scrolling. I missed 4 episodes of whatever. It's easy to do. Easy to do. And while you're doing that, please go to the Josh Guillory Show and share old episodes. I think we're still putting that on. Anyway, you definitely go to Rumble. All right, let's go to, hey, by the way, it's not the government's money, Lane. It's ours. So the Trump administration, we had to cover this. The Trump administration just froze more than $1 billion in federal Medicaid funding headed to California and Minnesota, until those states can prove the payments were legitimate. Well, it's about time. Because now, this is what I want y'all to do, though. I want y'all to take that $1 billion and come pave I-49. Or finish building one of those bridges in Louisiana. But $1 billion. For folks that don't care about a debt, why don't they come and fund all these projects? Just curious. It's a question worth asking. If you're not going to care about the debt, Carol did a wonderful job on some of the. I caught some of it, the information on our bonds and how our national debt is affecting investors from investing in U.S. bonds long term. All of this is tied in. But if we're not going to care, if we're just not going to care about the national debt, it's a fair question, don't you think? Why don't you come down and pave all the roads? Why don't you finish I-49 connector? Why don't you build a new bridge in Baton Rouge? I hear the Lake Charles Bridge is getting changed out. I drove on it the other day. Yeah, I can't even recognize the pistols sometimes on the little design. Very cool design. Very cool. My dad was a musician. He had we'll call it a residency. He had a residency. Once a week, he'd play in towards the older part of his career, when he wasn't traveling as much. And every once in a while, I'd come with him, and he'd always tell me it was Santa Claus lifting on that big, tall bridge. And I believe it. Very interesting. Very interesting. So RFK is doing some interesting stuff too, Lane. Trump is doing some interesting things as well. And this money they're freezing is due to what everybody knows, and that's the fraud in LA and Minneapolis. There's others in California and Minnesota. They're kind of competing. Although, no, it's not even a competition. Tim Walz and his crew and Ilhan Omar, they're like Hall of Fame up there, like in the hall. They're like first ballot Hall of Fame on not catching fraud and or facilitating fraud. Now, I ain't out here. Nobody's been convicted, so I don't want to accuse anybody. I really don't, because it might be a situation where it's just grossly incompetent. Or they just look the other way. I mean, I think some of those folks were donating to the one of the owners of one of those places. I know that tells you a lot. One of the owners from one of the places. That's a good source. Yeah, Google that. Tell me what you get. But Secretary of Health and Human Services, back to this topic, isn't saying Medicaid is going away. I don't want anybody to freak out in California or Minnesota. All right? He's just saying he's freezing more than $1 billion worth of federal Medicaid funding that was headed to these states, 2 states, Minnesota and California. So here's a thought. Show us where the money went. And that should be a theme here locally too. Again, guys, we're in budget. We're going to cover it more than we've covered it the last few years. I just, feel like it's needed. But why don't you ask this? Since the new administration, these are just facts. You've had $150 million more than the last administration to date. You're about to tack on another $123 million more in recurring expenses, okay? So I would say 2 questions that we ask our councils, because they're and the councils, it's not fair on them. It's hard, guys. Our government is designed. We're what's called a strong mayor government. It's just the way it's designed. Y'all can Google it. So the mayor president introduces the budget, and the council can chip away at that. But they're really kind of have the short end of the stick. They have a really tough gig for that, because they get it in increments, and then they have budget briefings where the administration, by design, has months and months and months to prepare to deliver this to the council. If you do it right, your council would have participated in that. So I would say 2 questions for the councils maybe to ask the administration, or you show up, fill out a blue card. 1, show us where the $150 million went. What did you spend it on? I know a part-time appointed position that the administration created that's in like 90-something thousand. That's a sweet gig. Okay? Is that one of them? Maybe we live with just that. That's not seems as egregious, but 150 guys, ask, where was the 100? Where did it go? Did it go in salaries? Did it go to projects? Because I don't see any of them. All right? I mean, did it go to university? If you don't laugh, you're going to cry. I'm just saying. And then the next question would be, Hey, we see that the forecast shows you at 830 million. That's 123 million more than the last guy's recurring, that's the key, recurring budget. So what are we doing with the 123? Are you just funding more salaries? Are you just funding, is it the use it or lose it? What is going on? So these are questions we can ask. You can show up to the budget briefings and ask this, but I know you're busy. I mean, who wants to go to that? Nobody. I liked them, but I was in office. That was my job. I was supposed to do like that. I was supposed to do that. I will say, and I'm telling you firsthand, guys, don't downplay the city council. Don't downplay the parish council. Those guys work hard. They're out there. They will meet with you. Call their office, talk to them, but talk about this budget. Guys, it's 123 million we could save this year. We could save it this year. 60 million could be going to paving roads, could be going to clean out the drainage, could be going to parks improvement. You could finish Brown Park. You can make it into a super park that doesn't compete with but complements Broussard, Youngsville, the improvements in Scott. That's a huge economic driver for not only the parish but Acadiana as a whole. Why wouldn't we do that? We could finish Homewood and those poor people that have had to live in the Amazon rainforest purely out of politics when you know you had the money to finish the project. You know you drug your feet for reimbursement for political gain because you were about to drop this budget. And I think folks are seeing through it now. So go to your council members and ask and talk, bring them a good project. You know, I bet you they would appreciate that, especially if you're in their district. You know, I've been driving around this and I've been wondering, you may be the 99th person that tells that council member that. And it might have just taken the 99th time for it to register because, again, that council member's busy too, working and all that stuff. So, anywho, I got to take a tiny little break. When we get back, we might finish up RFK or I might just go into a tangent. I don't know, Lane. The phone lines are going to be open, though, 232-1542. to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Let me see here. I want to give a shout out here to some folks in our community. I want you to go, let's see here, Acadiana Pregnancy Center and Clinic. Acadiana Pregnancy Center and Clinic. It's right in the heart of Lafayette. My dear friend, Miss Gina and her crew. There's a whole bunch of Angela, a lot of folks. I'm on their little text thing, whatever that is. I get the text, group text. I don't know. One of the text message things. And it tells us when there's someone considering abortion, someone considering whatever, getting the gospel for the first time. So go check them out. Nonprofit. It's a nonprofit that helps a lot of folks in the community. Talk about saving lives, literally helping the folks in need. Acadiana Pregnancy Center and Clinics right here in Lafayette. Wonderful folks. It don't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. And Christ don't care either. Speaking truth. All right, guys. I got to tell you this, though. And this is, I'm telling you, this happened. I needed these guys firsthand, all right? Not for me, but for someone that we care for. But I want to tell you about Audubon Home Health, okay? If you have someone, or maybe it's you or someone that you know, that you love, that you care for, and they need home, like quality care at home, try my guys, Audubon Home Health. Audubon Home Health provides compassionate professional home health services. They're designed to help patients recover, regain independence, and stay where they're most comfortable at home. And Audubon Home Health gets that. Their experienced team is committed to personalized care with dignity and respect every step of the way. Choose Audubon Home Health because there's no place like home to heal. And sometimes that can be a tough little process. So go get the care if you can get it, and they'll help you out with like formulary. They'll answer your questions that they can, point you in the right direction with like insurance and stuff. All right, want to go back to this? We're going back to RFK. You want to go local? What you want to do? I'm prepared for both.
That's a tough question. I don't know. Both are so interesting. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this: we'll wrap a bow on the local stuff because we can move on to some other topics. By the way, 232-1542, give us a shout. I just want to highlight this is the only part of the whole LCG year that is most interactive with the folks, and the council is the most engaged. This is the most important thing that the council and administration works on throughout the year regularly. That doesn't count any kind of emergencies. So I may sound like a nerd these next couple weeks. I may sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but guys, I pay taxes here too. And you pay taxes. Whether you live it or not, you come in here and you buy stuff. We're the hub city. We appreciate that. We're the hub parish. Well, in the city and unincorporated areas of Lafayette, 40% of your, for every dollar, 40 cents of every dollar goes into goes into O&M, our 101, Fund 101 internally. I bet you some folks down the street don't know that. 60% goes into capital. So thank you. So I might beat a dead horse, but it is a horse worth kicking with love. Because this is your money. This is a time. I mean, I just rattled it off. Look, if we had to come to the administration with like nothing to work with, fine. We'll take what we can get. We'll take what we can get. But fortunately, God has blessed this community, and we don't need to throw that blessing away. And I do fear we're doing that, because look at the revenue coming in. We've shown you. Just take the O&M budget from the last administration, and you got all this money. It ain't hard. I'm telling you, it's the easiest gig. Easiest gig. Any one of you guys could do it. Maybe you should consider it. Please. Because you would definitely. I bet you none of you guys would want to keep away open checkbook. That's another thing that possibly we could bring up during this budget process. I know it's not necessarily budget related, but if you have time and you have the desire, you don't even have to wait for a budget council meeting or anything like that. You can show up and ask the mayor president, why did you take away open checkbook? Why did you take away our only ability to see every check that was written? Is it correlated with the the more than 280 million you've had since the last guy? Is that corrupt? Don't say that. Don't use that word. Lane, was that you or me?
I don't know. It was just the wind. The wind's been talking recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Whew. Hope it doesn't blow to New Orleans. Our poor AG will have more charges through a grand jury. That is wild, man. I pray for her. Oh, my goodness. Pray for anybody going through that. All right, let's go to my boy, Sean. What's up, Sean? Man, that is what a great call. What a great point. First of all, we can talk about a lot of things. One, what's the effect of big government? And then two, what's the effect of big government when you have an administration that is willing to act on political whim or will? Okay, and that cuts both ways. For example, look at what Trump's doing here to Minnesota and California. He directed and authorized RFK to stop that funding, $1 million, because of fraud. Now, that might not be a greatest example, but let's say they were pushing, my point in this, and you can fill in the blanks, but when you have a federal government that has such discretionary spending, it changes every 4 years. It could change every year. That's why a smaller federal government with money going straight to where the rubber meets the road, which is at the local level. I don't care if you're a Democrat. You could manage that better at the local level than any Republican can most Republicans can at the federal level. What do you think? That's fair. Well, then you're sane, because that is probably a sane reaction when you, Sean, don't beat yourself up. See, you have looked into the problem for more than a day, so your body's just having some like reactions to all the crazy. You know what I mean? You need a hazmat gear. Sean, it's the same people. Yeah. Yep. And not just there. Hey, brother, I appreciate you. Lane, we're going to take us a tiny little break. Spin some fire over there, Sean. Love you, brother. All right, guys, we'll keep the phone lines open in the next segment. We'll be right back. Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Y'all go check out my friend over there, Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic, 983 Care. Feel great from the inside out. And man, they always got something going on at Giles Nissan. Giles Nissan, Opelousas, Lafayette. Go check them out. Whoo, man, they got a selection. They got a selection over there. And I hadn't been to the Opelousas one, but the Lafayette selection, like, go check them out. All right, Giles Nissan here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Lane, we see every day, guys, because we love you and we have a duty and we take duties very serious around here. We prepare a full show. Lane, we've gotten, like most days, 22% into the prepared content.
Yes.
That just goes to show you when you're having fun. But, you know, it's like a battle plan when you go into to battle. You know, you have your op order, your operation order. Well, once you cross the LD, the line of departure, you can just go throw that bad boy up in the air. Because, like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you're punched in the mouth. Exactly. Everybody's got a plan in war until the bullets fly. Then you know, oh, what the? That is not like training. All right, so look, let's move on past that. I just thought that was a good call by the Trump administration with RFK. Look, $1 billion when you got a $4 trillion budget, nah. But the principle of it is good. The fact that we have an administration that's looking at this fraud, okay, like real crimes, like money, like people getting hurt, not the personal vendettas. Hey, got something for you, Lane.
Okay.
Maybe we should stop mailing checks to dead people, too.
I really like that idea.
You think that could? I think that could catch on as a policy.
I think it could.
Yeah, it's important. So the Treasury Department, since we're in the Trump administration, we'll pick this up. Treasury Department just announced it stopped nearly $100 million. That's crazy. $100 million in federal payments going to people who are dead. Now, I got to tell you, it's one thing to organize those guys to go in there and vote in Orleans and other places. But, you know, that was supposed to be voluntary, not paying. Jeez, it's hard to get 120% turnout. I've been saying that. 100 million, like dead people, $100 million. And this is Brexit and them stopping it. That means, but for this administration, $100 million of your money, of our money, would be going to people that are dead.
Now, this is something that Republicans need to highlight in the midterms.
Yes.
They need to highlight that the Republicans are anti-fraud.
That should, and Democrats are pro-fraud. And even if we get, not your Joe Democrat, not like Mr. Blue Wave, I'm talking about like the folks in charge, the talking point folks, man. Like, even if we want to play kind and we just give everybody, you know, the benefit of the doubt there, at minimum, your gross negligence called that. I got to fit this caller in. Let's see here. Big Chris in the hizzy. What's up, Big Chris? Oh, that's a, I see, Lane, I knew if there was one person that could explain this, it was Big Chris. Big Chris, you doing all right? Man, oh, it's definitely hotter. I mean, you know, you could measure that. Now, before our greenies get all fired up, the Earth's been getting hot for a while. Before we've been just throwing that out there. We just saying. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. That was play. Hey, there was 105 wasn't going to stop no kid from playing in out and about. 90, you got an ice pack. You got an IV ready. You're gonna have to call Dr. Kevin at Dr. Kevin's Wellness Clinic. I'm gonna have to get you in there on the red light or something. I don't know. But Big Chris, hey man, I got you, brother. Look, we got a hard break coming. I love Big Chris. Love him. Love all our callers, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. That's all the time we got today. Go check out old episodes, old podcasts at the Josh Guillory Show on rumble.com. Be kind out there. Be careful. and be safe.